Hey guys, it's Destiny, and in today's video, we're going to be going over which characters should you be saving for and possibly pull for next in Honkai Star Rail. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So to begin, let's talk about Silverwolf. A lot of you are excited for her, myself included, and I'm going to be giving you guys the rundown of why you may or may not want Silverwolf and what she does. Silverwolf is a unique character that is able to apply ally types as a weakness to the enemy. What this means is, let's say the enemy has 3 weaknesses, none of which being fire, and you have Himiko on the team. Assuming that Silverwolf is able to do her skill and then apply the weakness, now the enemy will be weak to fire, assuming that that's the weakness that goes on to the enemy. So that is a really unique thing that Silverwolf has, and of course, she also has ways to debuff enemies. She is able to reduce their damage resistance to that weakness type. She's able to reduce their attack speed and defense with her bugs and so on. And the way that she creates bugs is based on her attacking the enemies. So this is really good overall, and Silverwolf does have a very unique kit. The only thing I would say though about Silverwolf is that she is really reliant on being able to implement her bug and implement the weakness type weakness onto enemies. If she's not able to do this, then it may be difficult to use her, which may result in her needing a lot of effect hit rate. Not too sure how much she'll need until she's here, but that is something to keep in mind. Of course though, her technique is also pretty good from what we've seen from beta. She ignores weakness types and reduces the toughness of all enemies. Enemies with their weakness broken in this way will trigger a quantum weakness break effect, which personally, based off her technique, assuming that they do keep this the same from beta to full release, that makes her really good actually with pairing with quantum characters, because now your quantum characters will be able to attack the enemies and the enemies will have a quantum weakness break effect. So this is pretty good overall, and I do plan to possibly run her with Zila and test out how that will work. As for whether or not Silverwolf will be good for you, it ultimately depends on how much you value her being able to apply that weakness type effectiveness onto the enemy. I think this character is really good for anyone to honestly get, but ultimately, as I said, it depends how effectively she can apply these bugs, apply her weakness type effect onto the enemies, and so on, because if she's not able to do it consistently, then it may not be really worth it for someone to invest into it. However, overall, I think she'd be a really good character for majority, if not all accounts, due to what she's able to do. Additionally, if you are enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit the subscribe button and let's carry on. Now we have Luocha. Luocha is a character that is a healer, but also can be built with attack. So overall, I think Luocha will be a hybrid character, and what Luocha is able to do is have an Abyss Flower field. The Abyss Flower field is triggered by having numerous stacks of Abyss Flower on your Luocha. The way that Luocha is able to get these Abyss Flower stacks is through his ultimate and his skill. His skill is really good because once you have a certain trace, then using his skill on an ally will cleanse them, which is similarly to what a character like Natasha can do, which will remove your debuffs on your allies. Overall, really good. And then Luocha's ultimate is AoE and removes 1 buff from all enemies and deals damage of Luocha's attack to all enemies, as well as gaining that Abyss Flower stack. His ultimate is actually really powerful, assuming that he can remove the buffs effectively, because now he's able to remove buffs from enemies, and this is all enemies, mind you. It's not just a 1-by-1, which is really powerful. As for the Abyss Flower, when you reach a certain amount of stacks, Luocha will consume all these stacks to deploy that field I've mentioned. When any enemy is attacked by an ally in the field, the attacking ally will immediately restore HP equal to percentage of Luocha's attack, and this field will last for numerous turns, and of course if Luocha is knocked down, the field will no longer exist. So overall, Luocha has a really unique kit. He is based on his attack, which means he can possibly be a hybrid character, which means you could possibly do some damage with Luocha as well as heal. As for his value overall on majority accounts, he has immense value due to the fact that he's able to cleanse, he's able to create that field, which now results in consistent healing as long as your allies are able to attack the enemy, and Luocha himself can also heal with his skill. So overall, as a healer and just an overall supportive character, Luocha can definitely be really handy to have on majority, if not all accounts as well. But if you do have characters possibly like Bailu and Natasha built up, maybe your need for Luocha will not be as grand. Luocha is imaginary though, which may be a point to consider for some players, as Welt is currently our only imaginary, so it may be helpful to have another imaginary character, and if you do not have Welt, and you really want someone who's imaginary, Luocha can fill in that placeholder for you guys. Now we have Mommy Dommy Kafka, which I love how people call her that. I think it's hilarious, and Kafka is a very unique character as well. Majority of these characters I am going over are really unique, which I appreciate a lot because I love the ways they are made to be unique. Kafka is a character who takes advantage of DOT. What DOT is damage over time, which is inflicted by a few characters. Some characters to note can be Himiko, Hook, they apply burn. Another character to note can be Serval, she applies shock, similarly to Kafka. And another character to note is Sambo, or what I like to call him is Shampoo. He is the best shampoo in the market, and I will always stick to it. Shampoo is a really good partner for DOT comps since he fully takes advantage of DOT being inflicted on the enemy, which is really, really good. And overall, Kafka is able to become stronger based on how much DOT is on enemies, and Kafka may very well have the potential to be our highest damage dealing lightning character, even though she is Nihility, which means that she can also be, in a sense, a hybrid character. We don't know until she's here, and that is really all I can say about that. But Kafka, from what I have seen, has the potential to be extremely powerful, and I personally cannot wait for her to be in the game. Some things to note about her, of course, is that, once again, she relies on DOT, damage over time on the enemies. The more DOT on the enemy, the better, and she also will shock them, and her attack will matter quite a bit when it comes to this. Overall, though, I think Kafka will be a very interesting character, and whether or not you should pull for her is more so dependent on your account. If you pulled for Jingyuin, you may feel like you don't need Kafka. However, Jingyuin and Kafka have different roles. Kafka's DOT, Jingyuin is just pure damage, especially with the Lightning Lord. So you will have different team comps, different playstyles even, if you will, with these two characters. So I wouldn't completely dismiss Kafka if you do have Jingyuin. And of course, if you like Kafka's design and you are into the idea of a DOT comp, I think Kafka is right for you. Lastly, we have Blade. Blade is going to be a character that basically consumes his HP and wants to be damaged in order to buff himself up and do more damage. He's basically, if you will, a Hu Tao of this game, and of course, I cannot say too much regarding that until he is here to fully be able to test this and know if he actually matches up to the potential of a Hu Tao, but it is definitely possible. Blade is going to be a wind destruction character, which opens up the roster for wind characters, as we currently do not have too many, and I personally think Blade will also be a very powerful character. Some things to keep in mind is a lot of people do mention him and Luocha, that is a good combo. I think that combo will be pretty good synergy-wise, since Blade will want to be attacked, Blade will want to deal damage, and Blade can definitely take advantage of Luocha's field. So that's always a thing to keep in mind. And overall, if you're into Blade's design, I feel like Blade will be a pretty good character for you. If you're into the whole losing HP to basically make yourself stronger and basically then crush the enemy, I think Blade will be good for that purpose. And at that point, I think Blade would be the character for you. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this video gave you an idea of who you may possibly want. Of course, all these characters are quite different from one another. They all do completely different things, and of course, it ultimately depends on, well, who do you like the most? All of these characters, in my opinion, have good value depending on who you really want, and of course, if you like the character design and the character themselves, that should add value for you getting them yourself. As at the end of the day, I feel like you should honestly pull for who you like. If you do not like the design or the character of a character that a lot of people are hyping up, then maybe that character just isn't for you, and maybe you could just save for a different character. There's nothing wrong with that, as we should be able to summon for who we like and call it a day, and I think that's good enough. I just wanted to give you guys the rundown of what these characters do in a simplified manner, so you guys have an idea of, okay, maybe I want this character, maybe I want Kafka, maybe I want Silverwolf, and so on. So overall, though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more Starl content from me. I would heavily appreciate it. And of course, leave a comment down below. What is your favorite cereal? I love to know these things. And of course, I hope all of you have a nice one. Peace.